Hello everyone and welcome into your Huskies Hockey Weekend Preview. I'm your host, Nik and in their final non-conference games before NCHC play, the Huskies headed up north to take on the University of Northern Michigan Wildcats. On Friday night, the Huskies got off to a fast start, building a 3-goal lead, but after two boarding major penalties, the Wildcats were able to get those goals back, and that would be all the scoring with a 3-3 Friday night tie. Saturday, SCSU saw a similar storyline, this time with a different outcome. Easton Brodzinski had 2 of the 4 goals in regulation for SCSU. Northern Michigan was able to force overtime again, but it would be Nick Perbix, the Tampa Bay Lightning draft pick, finding the back of the net to give the Huskies the win in overtime, 5-4. Taking a look at your standings across the NCHC, keep in mind St. Cloud State will be playing their first NCHC games this weekend, but North Dakota sits atop the conference with 6 total points. Behind them is Western Michigan with 5 and Minnesota Duluth with 4. The other team that has not played an NCHC game yet this season is the University of Nebraska-Omaha. Now joining me from the rink live is Mick Hatton. Mick, the Huskies got a big win on Saturday against Northern Michigan. How much of that overtime win carries into the locker room with momentum for this upcoming series?
Well, they're hoping it's a big momentum shift, for them because the night before they blew a 3-0 lead and ended up with a tie. They blew a 3-0 lead on Saturday night as well, but found a way to win. I mean, they've been in a lot of overtime here for the early part of the season. For a young team to find a way to get an overtime win on the road, sometimes that's a big momentum shifter. So hopefully for St. Cloud State's standpoint, I mean, that's what they're hoping for.
Now we focus in on CC. They're opening up NCHC play. These two teams have changed a lot from last year to this year. What are some big changes that you've noted?
Well, with Colorado College, you look at, they've lost 3 of their top forwards, Trey Bradley, Weston Mashad, and Mason Berg. Berg and Bradley were both seniors last season. Big offensive guys for them. Mashad ended up graduating and then transferring to the University of North Dakota. So scoring has been kind of a big challenge, I guess, for this Colorado College team here in the early going. Chris Wilkie is a guy, a senior who's back. He and Nick Halloran and Bailey Conger are the top guys on the top line, and those 3 guys, are key to them. They need to have those guys score and kind of lead the way for them. Their goaltending is different. Alex Leclerc decided to graduate early last season. They're rotating goalies with Ryan Ruck and Matt Vernon up to this point. Neither guy has kind of taken a stranglehold just looking at the numbers from either of those guys. So, that's an area that they're looking that's kind of a question mark. For St. Cloud State's standpoint, where do you start? The number of guys that, key players that they had that graduated or signed pro contracts. Blake Lazat, Ryan Paling, 2 guys that are in the NHL right now. Robbie Jackson, Patrick Newell, Jimmy Schultz, John Lazat. I mean, those guys all played a lot of minutes for St. Cloud State, so that's been a big changeover. Here's a big thing that you can tell about the changeover with St. Cloud State. Last season, they were a plus 28 in the third period. This season, they were a minus 6 over the weekend, so they're a minus 6 in the third period. They're not closing out teams the way that they did last season at this point.
SCSU will open their NCHC season as they will welcome the Colorado College Tigers to the Herb Brooks National Hockey Center. If you want to experience the greatest conference in college hockey, feel free to visit SCSUtickets.com. But if you can't make it to the Herb, that's all right. The games will be broadcast on Fox 9+, Friday starting at 7:30 p.m. and Saturday at 6 p.m. That wraps it up for your Husky Hockey Weekend Preview. I'm your host, Nik. Go Huskies.